My name is James Kitchen. I'm a sculptor, and I brought my sculpture today called Pipe Wrench Dreams, or The Wrenching Details of Life. And I created this because the city of Springfield has so much history to it, and one of the things that happened here was the wrench was invented here in 1835. And so I made a sculpture to remind people of some of the history, and it's made out of well over 400 pipe wrenches. And I've got him, hopefully it's going to be a metaphor for the city. It's going to have people think about, they're all different shapes, colors, different abilities, but ultimately everything's connected, and then all the citizens of Springfield are connected. And I hope that people will get a sense that this is also a metaphor for the city, how we're all connected and part of the fabric of the sculpture and the city. I have had over 100 sculptures up and down Main Street here over the years, and when I found out Wayne Fanoff is at the Springfield Republican, a tremendous historian, he had a list of 50 things that were invented here. One of them was the pipe wrench. And I thought about that being a connection. So I started collecting pipe wrenches. It took me over 4 years to collect the pipe wrenches because I got one here, one at a junkyard, one at an auction. And over the 4 years, I started putting this together. And when the city put requests out for a sculpture, I submitted this, and it ended up being chosen to be put here. I have found that public art creates a sense of community. People, after I place a piece here, people will start to connect with it. And one of the most interesting things is after I have a piece for like a year or so and I move it, that's when people realize how important it is. Because when it's gone, there's just a piece of grass or something. And that's when people realize, oh my gosh, that it brought to life a space. It connected people. And it's usually when it gets moved that's when people go, oh my gosh, that's when they appreciate public art.
Not only aesthetic quality, obviously, it's an economic development driver. And we're so happy to have James Kitchen here. When this was brought to my attention a number of years ago about bringing this type of art, and James sees other people's junk as treasure, and you can see, and now Springfield is the home of many, many firsts, 50 to 52 inventions and innovations. And the wrench, the monkey wrench, is one of those. And this is a time where people say, hey, don't throw a monkey wrench into the project. I don't mind this at all. And he has just been great, and we put a lot of pieces around the city. I want to give a shout out to Evan Plotkin, who really opened up the door to do this, and my economic development team. We funded this through CDBG grants. He's so creative, and he used a German term about, you see the art, it makes you think of what the art is. And it's going to bring people together. You know how many people will be taking photo shots with this here? And that's a good feeling, an eclectic feeling for the city of Springfield, especially downtown. And that's what I want the outlying public to see from afar, that Springfield is a good city, and we have plenty of good things going on in this urban center. And arts and culture are very important to my administration. And it's great to have such talented artists such as James Kitchen, or John, the artiste I call Johnny Simpson, the painter. I told John, don't put any paint on this one here. So it's very, very important. It leads to a vibrant downtown, vibrant streets, vibrant neighborhoods. Thank you so much for being here. This is stuff I love. It brings an eclectic approach to the city of Springfield. I can't say enough about James Kitchen. When this was brought to my attention from leaders in the downtown area, Evan Plotkin, my city staff, I said I'm all for it. I've seen it in other areas of Western Mass where James Kitchen work has been put forth, and I think it sends one hell of a message. Evan, I have to give this line, copyright infringement to Evan Plotkin. If you see all the wrenches here and everything, and maybe you'll send the message that, hey, once in a while, you got to get a grip on things, especially when you get ridiculous things said about Dr. Seuss. That person needs to get a grip on it, so maybe she can look at this. And the old adage, I mean, we are the city of first, the monkey wrench, etc. Many a times you'll say, hey, please, don't throw a monkey wrench into this project. In this case, I don't mind the monkey wrench at all here. So with that, let me turn it over to Brian Connors, my Deputy Director of Economic Development. A few words, and we'll have a few of Siobhan Plumbers here from my Echo Dev. Brian, you can wrench this thing up.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, Mayor. So this is a new program for the city that we started under Mayor Sarno to bring public art into our cultural district. This is one of 2 grants that we've done. We're going to be doing another event like this down the street on a great project that's underway. The public art is about celebrating Springfield. So this is celebrating the invention of the wrench in Springfield. As you can see, that Mr. Kitchen's work does that. We'd like to thank, obviously, HUD and CDBG. This is a program funded through CDBG, which is so important to Springfield. We want to thank the Springfield Central Cultural District, which is really promoting arts in our
Where's the white line to go?
and a big support of this. And obviously Mayor Sarno for approving this program, which is so important to cities to have public art like this.
Tough to say no to, Jake.
And MassMutual and MGM Springfield are hosting this right in front of their building on Main Street. And this is what we really wanted us to have a lot of visibility. And thanks to them.
I'll give you the $20 later. Thank you so much. It's comments like that and people that wave at me with all 5 fingers keep me going. I have a good team going. Brian, I'm sorry I interrupted.
No, I just again thank you to MassMutual and MGM Springfield for hosting this and keeping an eye on it. You just got promoted.
Oh, geez, there we go.
I'm happy of it. Brian, thank you very much. And I did not plan that, okay? Sticks is here from MGM. We appreciate MGM's been a great corporate citizen. They're taking over the running of the MassMutual Center. We appreciate the MassMutual Center leadership in the state. So we'd love to have a few words from yourself.
Sure.
And you're looking dapper with that pinstripe.
No, the governor, excuse me, Mr. Mayor, Mr. Mayor, excuse me. No, we're excited to be here. We're joined by many members of our MassMutual team and Monique Messier and Scotty Griffin and the whole team who really helped to keep this place afloat. And so from an MGM perspective, we're excited to be here. From our chairman on down, Jim Murin, who is an art history major and a history buff, he couldn't be more pleased to be associated with a piece of public art. And so we're excited to be here. This is a vibrant downtown, and we're excited about the things that come under Mayor Sarno's leadership.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're going to close with the big hitter, James Kitchen, but a businessman who puts his money where his mouth is. He believes in the arts and culture, as I do and we do. That is also not only good for aesthetic quality, but it's an economic development driver. And I can't say enough about Evan Plotkin, the jazz fest that he puts forward, where we draw literally 8,000 to 10,000 people of all backgrounds throughout New England and New York. It's just no problems whatsoever right across the street. He was one of the first ones to say, James Kitchen, come on down. Whatever you have, bring it. And I see the artiste, Johnny Simpson, there. You know, maybe don't put any paint on this one here. I know you do great work on it. But I'd love to have a few words from Evan Plotkin. Evan?
Oh, well, thank you. Well, you know, James's work is, you know, such an incredible representation of, you know, the taking things from buildings and scrap metal and turning it into art. And I always felt as though that James's brilliance is really to take things that people would normally throw away or be in a junk pile somewhere, and somehow he puts it all together. And not only is it, you know, aesthetically pleasing, but it also is incredibly interesting how the pieces all fit together and how it, and then there's always a statement, there's always some kind of message coming from it. And if you look at all of his work and the names of his pieces of art, all are representational of something. Sometimes it's philosophy. It's play on words. It's just brilliant stuff. So when I first met James and he came down here to display about 30 pieces, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and I thought it was a very important development in the downtown. And I'm happy to say that the mayor's leadership is really, I'm so pleased with bringing the park benches back into the park and sponsoring public art like this. It's such a great move for the city, and I couldn't be more pleased. John Simpson, who's my partner and colleague, who works with me on City Mosaic to bring these boarded up buildings, and he does it, you know, in the cold weather months, he's out there painting and doing it, and he's not looking for money. I mean, he just does it out of the love to transform a space. that was previously tarnished and inactive in activating these spaces. So I'm really so pleased with our leadership in the city that is taking an aggressive sort of artistic role in moving the city forward. And so thank you, Mayor, for
Thank you.
what you're doing.
Okay, you got to put your hands together. We got Big Papi coming November 11th, the cleanup hitter today. Put your hands together for Mr. Creative himself, James Kitchen. James.
If I could distill this experience down, I love Springfield. If I could distill it down to one word, I would say it's heart-wrenching.
But Uncle, that was good.
Okay, that's it.
Johnny Carson's back.
What the ho? Hi. I was in Europe a few years ago. I thought I died and went to heaven because all the city streets there had sculptures everywhere. They appreciated history and art. And I was in Austria, and I asked somebody, what do you call a sculpture in German? They said, Denkmal. Denk means to think, mal means a moment or time. Think a moment. I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I want to do with public art, have people just stop and think a moment. This sculpture, the pipe wrench was invented right here in Springfield. There's Wayne Fanoff, a wonderful historian, has a list of 50 items, and I know there's more than that, of just things that were invented and created here. It's a wonderful city. The history here is fantastic. So I wanted to just pay a little bit of homage to that history, but I also thought about Springfield. Each of these pipe wrenches, what is the ultimate message? It's like the city. They're all different sizes, shapes, colors. They have different abilities. They're all united. They're all connected. And in the city of Springfield, we're all connected. And that's what I want people to come away with, the sense that we're all connected and we're part of this big mosaic. And hopefully people will stop and think a moment about how we are connected.
Great job. Thanks, Johnny. Heart-wrenching, that was good. Thank you, everybody. Hey, to the media, thank you so much for coming out to cover this, because it sends out a nice message to surrounding areas about our Springfield, especially downtown Springfield. Come on down, have a great time. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.